we will find the midpoint of this strip. The whole strip, very long, right? So we will find the midpoint by folding them into two, and we know this is the midpoint. Okay, so we will do a marking on the midpoint. This is the midpoint where I folded. Okay, and this is the midpoint. I'm using a fabric marker, and when it touches water it will go away. So I find the midpoint here. This one also I will find the midpoint. So you decide whether you want the top to be the jumble tumble fabric, it means the colored one, or plain color. So I think I will have this as the top and this at the bottom. So if this is the bottom, then I will find a midpoint at the bottom piece. Again, I fold into half. Here I press, and there will be a crease, and this is the midpoint, right? So for both pieces also I will find the midpoint. Right? So what I'll do is I'm going to midpoint to the midpoint of this. Midpoint and the midpoint, my midpoint to the midpoint here. Yes. So midpoint to the midpoint, I'm going to join them. Midpoint and midpoint join. I make them to meet, and I will pin it. Right? So, okay, this is the panel, the front panel of the tote bag. I have already found the midpoint and did a marking. On the strip, I also did a marking. So the midpoint, I pin. And I'm going to sew, because here this I have marked a 1/2 inch allowance. So I'm going to start from here. Okay, sewing from this point where I pin the middle point. Yeah, I'm going to sew straight 1/2 inch allowance, joining the two pieces together, joining the strip and the outer together. Up to here, this one we have to have also 1/2 inch allowance here, and I will turn corner. So that means I will sew here right up to here. I will turn the corner to sew this way and join them, still joining them by the sides, right? So for this allowance that is jutting out like that, which we are going to make the rack, right? So you decide whether you want it this way or this way. So let's be consistent. If you're going to push it upwards, so all go upwards. If you want to push it downwards, so all go downwards. So when we are sewing here, we are sewing this, right? So we are going to sew 1/2 inch allowance like this down all the way, right? So this one will have to go this way if I'm putting it to face down, right? So then I will sew 1/2 inch allowance all right up to the edge of this, and I can continue to sew. No more, because the front panel finished already. I still sew 1/2 inch allowance because I'm going to snip and make the rack. here on the strip as well. And then I'm going to continue to sew half an inch, yeah, still half an inch. So up to when I reach here, this is where I drew the, I'm not sure whether the camera can capture my line, right? Where I drew my pointed, this is where I drew. Can you see? Can the camera capture? So I'm going to sew half an inch up to here, and I'm going to sew like this and like this. Yeah? So the extra I'm going to cut away and I'll make the jacket. Right? So half an inch, right? So sewing half an inch, half an inch, half an inch, half an inch up to here. Yeah? So I will follow this half an inch, here half an inch. Yes. And come down again half an inch. Right? So let me do one and show you. So this is the front panel, and I have found the middle. So the middle of the strip is here. Because it's so busy, I put a pin. So here, this part I'm going to match the middle part. Right? So I'm going to match. And because I drew a line on this red, so I'm going to put my pin this side. So I'm going to start sewing from here. I'm going to start sewing from here on this side, and when I go to the corner, I'm going to sew, and when I go to the corner, when I go to the corner, I will sew from here. I will sew unto here, half an inch from here, this side. Right? Let me do a marking to show you. And I'm going to turn half an inch. So I'm going to sew like that down. Right? So it will be this way, the two. I'm going to sew up to the corner. I'm going to turn and sew like this. Yeah? So I'm going to pin to show you. The corner, how I'm going to do. So I'm going to start sewing from here. Sew at the corner, half an inch from this side. I'm going to turn this way and sew. Right up to the top. Right? And continue to do the sharp. The sharp, you see this sharp? I'm going to do it this side, right? But before that, this is the top of my bag. I'm going to sew a half an inch line across first, right? So that I can also do this ragging after I sew the line. I sewed a half an inch line here, so that I can do ragging, right? The end of the shoulder strap, I have make it a sharp corner, so the extra fabric I will cut off. Then I will still rag around it. So this is an untidy look that I'm going for. So it is so the corners are this way. The other one I have already cut, and it is like this, right? So that is the end of the strap, and I'm also still going to rag it, right? So the sewing line can be seen. So I'm going to rag around it still. So I'm going to finish ragging, and maybe, okay, I'll show you how the bag looks like now. See the bag? Right? So, right. So the bottom is this way, and I'm going to rag all around it like this. So all this also I'm going to rag. Here is the bottom, right? And this is the side panel of the bag with the strap. And I'm going to tie it in order to join the strap together this way, right? So this is the bag. See whether I can see the bag. How did it turn out? I think it turned out just the way I have wanted it to be. Okay, here is tight. Here the strap is tight. Okay, this way. And if I were to turn the inside out, I have a different look. Let's have a look at it. Actually, I'm quite excited to see how this bag turned out. The other way round, the bag would look like this. So it's a two-way bag. I have this other look, and this one has no rag. And that's how the bag looked like. So I have two looks for this bag. I'm going to finish ragging and take some pictures to show you. I'm so pleased the bag turned out as how I imagine it. So it is, and I've successfully made a two-way bag. So the shoulder strap here is tied like this. Yes. I tied it, and the side panels look like this. The bottom. So the bag looks like this. And if I turn it over and I turn the inside out, from here I turn and I could also use this. This will be a less ragged look and have a different, no ragging. The joinings are like this. the rag is only happening at the top of the bag here. Okay. So, and the side panel looks like this. So I have a two-way bag. I'm quite happy with how it turned out.